One question I get asked all the time. Okay, so we now know in humans that sugar ingestion in any form impairs our white blood cells' ability to ingest bacteria and viruses. What happens once they ingest them? Well, this was the work that was done by Dr. Linus Pauling back in the 50s and 60s, the famous vitamin C doctor. And I've done this on another podcast, but it's worth mentioning again. And it gets a little complicated. Vitamin C is actually manufactured in all other animals except us, guinea pigs, and African monkeys from glucose. There's a 5-step process. We lack the final enzyme to do that, so we can't manufacture vitamin C. But vitamin C is concentrated in our white blood cells 50 times higher than in our blood. And so there's actually a gradient to bring vitamin C into our white blood cells and concentrate it there. The problem is glucose competes with vitamin C for the same pumps that pump vitamin C into our cells. And what Linus Pauling showed was the higher your blood sugar, glucose, the more glucose is in the cell instead of vitamin C, and up to 70% of the killing ability of white blood cells is lost because you don't have enough vitamin C in your white blood cells. So 2 reasons not to have sugar. One, it stops white blood cells from eating bacteria and viruses in the first place. And number 2, if they eat them, they can't kill them if your sugar is up. Double whammy. Okay. I somehow on Twitter, somebody said that I said that sugar feeds viruses. I've never said sugar feeds viruses. Viruses don't eat sugar, number one. What I've said is that sugar impairs your white cell's ability, and those are the studies we just went over. So please, let's stop the myth that sugar feeds viruses. That's not the problem with sugar. Well, are there good substitutes for sugar? Well, first of all, if you're going to eat fruit, please eat fruit in season. If you're going to eat berries, believe it or not, the modern blueberry has the highest sugar content. They've been bred for sugar. If you can find wild blueberries, and you usually have to find the frozen, they're the safest of the blueberries. But interestingly, blackberries, followed by raspberries, followed by strawberries, have the least sugar content of the berries. One of the best, which is no longer available right now, it's not in season, is pomegranate seeds. So if you can find pomegranate seeds, it's actually one of your best choices. Not pomegranate juice, pomegranate seeds. You always want the whole fruit. So those are my advice for those kind of products. Now there's several quite safe sweeteners. One is stevia, the other is monk fruit or lo hong go. Those are actually 2 of the safest. A third is inulin. Now, inulin has a sweet taste. It's available in products just like sugar. It's also available mixed with stevia in sweet leaf sweeteners. The beauty of inulin is, as I've written about in the plant paradox, inulin feeds good gut bacteria. So you get the sweet taste, but you actually get a benefit in feeding good gut bacteria. Now, what about other artificial sweeteners? Well, if you've read any of my books, you know that most artificial sweeteners, including sucralose, and NutraSweet, and saccharin, actually kill gut bacteria. In fact, a Duke study showed that 1 packet of Splenda will kill about half of your gut bacteria. So these are absolute no-nos. The other thing we have to remember from any, we'll call them fake sugar, non-caloric sweeteners, including stevia, including saccharin, including monk fruit, is that we have sweet receptors in our tongue. We don't have sugar receptors. We even have sweet receptors in our gut. We don't have sugar receptors. Those sweet receptors tell our brain, they send a message up to our brain that said, hey, just ate sugar. That's actually the only sweetness we ever knew. And get ready for it, it's coming. Well, when sugar doesn't arrive in your brain literally says, wait a minute, I know this guy just ate sugar. Where is it? He's been cheated. Go back and get some more and try again. And one of the reasons that I was addicted to Diet Cokes, 8 a day, was that every time I drank a Diet Coke that had no sugar, my brain felt cheated and made me go look for more. So this is one of the sad things about non-nutritive sweeteners. Your brain tastes sugar and doesn't understand why any hasn't arrived. So we really have to be cautious, particularly when we're trying to wean ourselves off the real stuff, that we don't make the mistake of using even stevia, even monk fruit as a replacement for that sweet taste. As you've heard me say before, the key is to retreat from sweet. Now the good news is you actually become habituated to the taste of sweetness, and you have to retrain your receptors. And you do this by, as I wrote about in Dr. Gundry's Diet Evolution, I used to put 2 packets of sweeteners in my coffee. Okay, so we're going to cut it in half. We go down to 1 pack. And we do that for a week. And then we tear off half the package and we put in half a packet. And then we do that for a week or 2. And then we put in a quarter and we do that for a while. You step down the amount of sweetness you add, and strikingly, you'll find that the taste of sweetness comes back. In fact, I now primarily eat 90% chocolate and cacao, and that sweetness, and it's not sweet normally, is just as sweet as when I used to eat milk chocolate. Now, if I started off eating 90% chocolate, I'd go, yeah, this stuff is so bitter. So work your way up. Start with 72% chocolate and limit yourself to a square. And you'll find over the weeks, you're going to wean yourself off. This is a habit that can be broken, but it's really difficult to go cold turkey. Does it get easier? Yeah. Like I say, I drink my coffee black now. I don't use any sweetener. And I have 90%, even 92, 95% cacao chocolate, and I'm delighted with that. But again, I couldn't have done it cold turkey.